Arcane was fine, I guess. Some people might take it as an insult when I say this, but at the same time, I didn't see a lot of opinions that would just critique something about Arcane. That would be like, yes, this is the next best thing next to sex or something like that. But I don't know, I feel really uncomfortable going into this debate because I don't have like any valid critique to it other than, well, I just wasn't really amused. I wasn't entertained, so to say. Or maybe I just wasn't really attached to the characters. Most of them just bugged me for a lot of reasons. I guess it would have been easier if the only fans who would actually be that into praising Arcane would be just only League players, but apparently everyone loves it so much that I just feel uncomfortable. This is just for the people who didn't feel comfortable with Arcane and found out that it actually might be a little bit disappointing for some of us. I don't know. I'm really glad. I want to love it. I want to with so much passion. I came into this house without actually knowing what's going on. So I was like, okay, there's gonna be this stuff. There were gonna be a lot of characters and children with trauma, and I was like, yeah, okay, finally, children with trauma. That's the thing that I like. But then they would be so into this drug dealing politics stuff that I was like, wait a minute, where are the characters here? So we're gonna talk about the characters that are not fine by me, or more specifically, characters' relationships. Because I get Jace and Victor are gay, but they're not allowed to be gay, and it makes me really mad. Like, I was never angry at Mel, for example, because it was so obvious that she's just using Jace, and I was like, yeah, go girl, use this son of a bitch to run for the government, I guess. But at the same time, I was feeling so queer baited by it. Like they were so definite to make Caitlyn and Vi something, to give a lot of hints at it. But then when it came to Victor and Jace, they were like, yeah, no, thank you. No meals for you. We'll give you the chemistry, the things like really weird sex thing with the subtext, which I'm not even gonna get into. And then I would be like, well, yes, Victor is like a brother to me. Why would you say that? Why would you say that if there would be any hints that it's romantic and not platonic love, just unqueer-baited ourselves, I guess we are. But then there's just this relationship with Vi and Caitlyn, which is supposed to be gay and fun, but why? They met and they spent like, I don't know, 1, 2 days together, and suddenly there's just this wee debate. I guess they're friends now and they feel attracted to each other, which is fine. I like it, but at the same time, I don't feel anything going towards them. Especially, it's not that kind of bond that be like, oh yes, I'm gonna sacrifice my bond with my sister because of the bond that I have with the girl that I met only one day before. I guess she kind of took me out of the prison, but that's all. I don't know. So then there's a Jinx problem, and I guess I'm just the only person who has this problem, and it makes me feel really sad because I just wanted some people to agree with me, to not feel like crazy like Jinx because she is actually crazy. So we meet Jinx or Powder when she's a child and she is just so sad because she feels useless, but at the same time her sister is always by her side. I guess she kind of overhears something wrong which make her feel like her sister doesn't like her either. But this is just a misunderstanding plot that would be even more reinforced by another misunderstanding, which is the whole point of Jinx's character. Her whole character is just a big misunderstanding, and that's why she goes nuts because she misunderstood stuff. Wow, that's a solid motivation for her. I guess. So there's just one thing that she's a girl who wants to be useful, and then when she goes and actually acts on it successfully, she just kills all of her friends and not her enemies. And Vi is angry because this is a fucking tough situation, and she just goes away in the corner and she wants to go back to save Vi, but she couldn't. And Vi is like, no, please don't leave me, don't abandon me. And then after like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, when Silka comes in, Silka, like the guy that she was intended to murder instead of her friends, she like she goes into his arms and starts crying like, oh my god, everyone abandoned me. I don't know, girl. I thought that he would indoctrinate her, but no, it's like she's like, oh no, I don't have a person right next to me for the 5 minutes. I guess I'm gonna turn evil. That's my hatred towards Jinx arc because I didn't like her. It kind of frames it in a way where I'm supposed to feel sorry for her because she's just traumatized and she has these attacks and symptoms, and then she kills people and then she's crazy again. And I don't understand why Silka loves her. If we were just being shown their bonds or something, but no, it's just like one split of a second Silka is a murderer. The next thing he's just like, oh no, you're gonna be my daughter. And then she's actually his daughter, and he's like, I'm not gonna abandon you like these other people because I actually love you. Why? If this is the thing with all of the relationship in Arcane, they don't develop naturally. There's just like this tendency of people going like, "You're my friend," and that's how a friendship works. Or you're now my boyfriend or fiance. I don't know what kind of relationship they had with Mal and Jace. I don't really care. But then when the characters don't have that stigma on them about their relationship, they're actually allowed to have interesting stuff going on between them. I mean, Victor and Jace again, and I guess mine, Caitlin, you kind of have to give it a benefit of the doubt because for Jace and Victor, there's like 7 years of love partnership, which means marriage, and then you have Vi and Caitlin just like one day away from being strangers for each other, and I'm supposed to believe that they are the one who is gonna have a romantic subplot. No, I don't think so. So I guess these kind of relationships are dictated by the lore. But at the same time, I feel like the show kind of wants me to feel sorry for all of the characters. So they don't give them enough bad stuff to do, like actual bad stuff in the subtext. I mean, in the text. Fuck, sorry. Okay, so Jinx kills people. But we don't know these people. This shit doesn't murder someone we know. We're not supposed to feel bad for her. Oh, well, I guess she murders all of her friends, but it wasn't her fault. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. Feel bad for her. She's a little girl. And then Jace kills this kid and he feels sorry. But I don't know anything about this kid. There's been a war, people were dying left and right before, and now am I supposed to be like, well, Jace, you kind of killed the kid on accident. Congratulations. Well, you're a better person than Jinx anyway. And then there's Silco, who is bad because something bad happened with him and his ex-boyfriend. I don't know. They're just like they argued and then Silco just felt betrayed and now he's salty and you feel like, oh my god, I gotta see all of the depths to his character, but all of the depths to his character is just like, I'm one person when there's something's going on in the politics. And then there's Jinx subplot when I'm like a dad, but at the same time weirdly sexual dad. Okay, now we don't go there. people who ship Jinx and Silco are weird. But they have the reason to exist. Why? I don't really care about the lore. I don't really care about the politics. All I care about is people fucking with each other with words. And this is the only thing for what I watched this at all. And now I'm like, wow, I don't feel anything towards these characters because they're nothing to me. They're just people with functions painted all over them because they are, and they're so afraid to make them kind of complicated. They'll be like, oh yes, the dog thing that was voted off council, we're supposed to be feel bad for him and feel like, oh my god, Jace is so corrupted right now because he failed his former teacher. But like, Jace had solid motivation because his friend was gonna die, and that dog didn't understand like the timelines. He was just like, yes, 10 years for me, like 1 year for you. And Victor's just like, I'm gonna die the next day after tomorrow. What are you talking about? I didn't feel bad about anything at all. Like, wow, Jinx blown up the council, and that's kind of bad. And I imagine that after that, Silco would be like, oh no, Jinx, I still love you. You're still my daughter. When in reality, he's gonna be like, well, Jinx, turns out that you actually jinx shit because you're so stupid. She is so stupid. I hate her. I hate her motivation. She's just like, oh yes, hello, I'm Jinx. I'm a little sister, so it makes all of my feelings matter. But my sister's feelings, they don't matter. So they're together, and Vi has no reason to trust her because Jinx now is a criminal. So you would assume then Jinx would have to earn her trust. But instead she's like, oh yes, my sister, I miss her. This is so fun. And then she's like, oh my god, no. I feel like I don't want to be with you anymore because you betrayed me. And Vi is just like, well, this is a misunderstanding plot all over again. I'm sick of it happening like 3 times in a row. And she's like, no, Jinx, wait. And Jinx is like, oh no, I hate everyone. Everyone hates me. I'm so emo. I hate Jinx. She's more emo than Shadow the Hedgehog. And I'm so tired of pretending that she's not.